Hello, fellow dungeon crawlers. Welcome to the channel where we talk about tabletop role-playing games and maybe even video games. Today we're going to discuss another classic early adventure, but this D&D adventure was not created by TSR. We will discuss an adventure that uses an amazingly rich ancient culture to bring the early mega dungeon to life. We of course will go over the Caverns of Thracia, released in 1979 by the Judges Guild, and talk about why you need to read or possibly reread this amazing early mega dungeon. I miss this module back in the day. I'm not too proud to admit it, but I chose modules based on the book covers alone, and the Minotaur cover, I love it now, but it must not have grabbed my attention back in the day. Let me know in the comments how you decided which module you should buy back then, because from what I remember, bookstores always had them shrink wrapped, so it was kind of hard to decide where I should spend my hard-earned money on. We all know it takes more than a cool cover to become an iconic D&D adventure, so let's do a deep dive and see why this adventure is so highly regarded. What amazed me most about Caverns of Thracia was the setting. The adventure is alive with lush details from history. The adventure is sprinkled with elements of ancient Greece. The book describes a civilization similar in technology to ancient Greece, creating a sandbox-style mega-dungeon. Greek-style temples and statues are shown in fantastic artwork throughout the book. Even the Minotaur from the front cover is dressed in ancient garb. I was blown away when I found out that the art was created by the author, Janelle Jacques. It is insane to me that one person is such a great artist and dungeon designer. A true legend in the field. My favorite piece of artwork is a Mycenaean-styled armor. This picture would have been lost on middle school, Richard. But it is super badass that the warriors pictured in Mycenaean-styled armor after the Dendra panoply, and not the usual medieval knight. Maybe Ajax or Diomedes wore this type of armor when they battled the Trojans. One thing that sets this module apart from many other adventures from the period is the rich setting. The author provides an amazing backstory and multi-leveled history, which elevates this adventure beyond a mere dungeon crawl. And I love dungeon crawls. In the adventure, it is said that the area was first ruled by a lizard civilization. These reptilians developed high culture and technology. But the reptilian civilization slowly decayed. They devolved into a tribe of lizard men without high culture of the earlier civilization. The newer human culture, the Thracians that developed, were said to be similar in technology to the Bronze Age Greeks, like the Mycenaeans and the Minoans. Humans discovered the caverns without knowledge of the prior reptilian civilization. The humans slowly replaced the collapsing lizard men in the caverns. The lizard men were forced to move deeper inside the cave. The human kings even created a garden palace in the lower levels of the caverns. Unfortunately, the humans used beastmen like gnolls and minotaurs as laborers. But the beastmen revolted and took back the cavern. Their leaders, the Minotaurs, became the rulers of the caverns. The Thracians tried many times, but failed to reclaim the caverns. The human priests of Thanatos, the god of war, were sealed into the first level of the caves. Then 2 waves of invaders sacked the Thracians above ground. They destroyed the proud Thracian civilization, and only the ruins of the city remain. Inside the cavern now are competing factions. First, inside the cave, there is the death cult of Thanatos. Lastly, there are bands of lizard men and gnolls. The cavern's main big bad is a Minotaur king who leads the beasts. What is great about this adventure is this historic background is used throughout the adventure. These factions make the game more than a standard dungeon crawl. These competing factions in the adventure provide a rich role-playing game opportunity. Now for the real reason to discuss this adventure. The dungeon design is true art. There was a term I was not familiar with, and it's called Jacqueing. This means to create an adventure in a non-linear way with many branching paths. The author created a living, breathing environment with multiple entrances and exits through the various levels. This makes the adventure unique each time it is played, and with the various factions and rivalries, all creating a much more dynamic adventure than a series of dangerous rooms. In the start of the adventure, the party will have many paths into the caverns. For instance, the main entrance is the obvious way in, and most likely it will be guarded. There is a stairway that leads the players to room 1, but there is also a secret tribesman entrance that can bypass much of the first level. The last entrance is a 5-foot wide hole, which is 65 feet straight down. If the party attempts to climb down, they will land on an evil altar. There is even a small chance that a black celebration will be taking place when the party climbs down. This would be so cool if the group lands in the middle of an evil ceremony. Overall, the dungeon has 4 levels, with sub-levels and secret passages connecting everything in a 3-dimensional way. There is no single path to traverse this mega dungeon. One really cool monster, and my favorite in the first level, is a crazy awesome monster named the Incarnation of Death. It is a wandering monster that appears as a tall, gaunt man in flowing black robes. The Incarnation of Death appears if a character is mortally wounded with 3 hit points or lower. If the character dies, the Incarnation of Death will take their spirit and cannot be raised from the dead without a wish ring. Level 1 and Level 2 seem more or less like a dungeon crawl, but they are very much different. With a non-linear layout, the party can traverse the dungeon in many different ways. Because of these path loops and multiple routes, it is said that this adventure should be taken in chunks. When the party is done adventuring for the day, they would exit the dungeon and return to a base camp. So the party could try a different way back into the caverns for a return trip. Let me know in the comments if this is how your old school adventure group would handle a mega dungeon. My favorite part of the adventure was level 3, and it is very much different than the 2 previous levels. This is the only level with a sub-level. Level 3A is the old Temple of Thanatos. The party will pass a large central room, which is the Sanctuary of Thanatos. This room has a permanent silence and darkness spell cast on it. 8 large black columns line the room. The main focus of the room would be a central statue, but no statue is visible, so where's the missing statue? The single wandering monster in this sub-level is a statue in the likeness of the death god Thanatos. Its normal damage is 2d8, but it could also shoot a paralysis ray from its eyes. The paralysis ray has a range of 60 feet and is also 10 feet wide. This monster could be really OP, so maybe the party should hit the bricks. I hope the party can get past the death statue because level 3 is really cool. Level 3 is the palace area and gardens of the Thracian king Agamemnos. The garden area is a small wilderness area packed with dryads and even evil trees with a good amount of keyed encounters. Inside the garden is a large palace that once belonged to King Agamemnos. Now the temple is overrun with beastmen and gnolls. Even more dangerous is a 5-headed hydra that is just chilling in the courtyard. The players will find the lair to the Minotaur King. The players will find 3 female minotaurs. They are preparing food in an open fire pit. There are also 2 babies gleefully playing in the background. This family is preparing a barbecue meal before the Big Daddy Minotaur arrives. It's rather a beautiful sight of this wholesome Minotaur family enjoying some well-deserved R&R. Should the party try to talk to them? If so, the Minotaur family will attack on sight with ruthless cruelty. The party will discover that the barbecue is of course not bovine. It's really a human body roasting on a spit. These are evil creatures and need to be slaughtered. This is going to be a tough fight. The females attack with knives and can even deliver a powerful gore. The older calf is intelligent and can even use magic. But if Big Daddy Minotaur is home, it's going to be a boss fight. The Minotaur King is quite powerful. Not only does he use a battle axe that can deliver 2d8 of damage, he can also cast 6-level magic user spells. This adventure will take more than a few read-throughs to understand the complex level design, but it is well worth the prep time. So there you have it. That is the Caverns of Thracia, an early non-TSR mega dungeon that provides a historic setting and dynamic faction play to make the adventure your own. If you played Caverns of Thracia or you're interested in running it, share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this look back into some classic D&D adventuring, be sure to like the video and check back for the Goodman Games adaptation. And I'll see everybody on the next dungeon crawl.